It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up. Welcome. You're listening to Bucked Up with Sam Buck.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. You have fucked up now. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
Welcome to Bucked Up, Patrick DePari.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Sam Buck.
Of course. You are one of my favorite comedians that I've met post-quarantine, and I'm happy to have you on. You're the first guest in the Bucked Up home studio.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of DIY, but we really for 2 weeks, we haven't had microphones.
Can they see the fine china in the back? It's looking better than me.
We do have a couple... no, I'm not going to. I'm already going down the path that I told you not to.
Because I said China?
Exactly. All right. Welcome to Bucked Up. Yeah, so we were talking about the whitest kids you know. That's where you done fucked up. You done.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Whitest Kids You Know, and when I finally got old enough to drive around, I was like, that's what improv is, because I thought they were like an improv troupe, and then I signed up for improv, and I do love the improv group I was in. And I was in one from 16 to 18, but it's not the style of... I stopped because it's not the style of humor I want to do.
Were they improv? Were they like a improv troupe? Or were they were just a sketch
Yeah, I
troupe?
think they were just a sketch group, but I kind of saw like a bunch of dudes being silly, and I was like, that's what improv is. And then I was like, oh, wait, you have to be like kind of PG-13.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no dirty improv.
And gay.
Yeah, you do.
You have to be flamboyant, at least,
to be
improv. You have to have no shame and be able to like hit high points and like with your voice and stuff. So
I think that's funny. It's kind of like, I feel like improv people might feel that way about stand-up, because they're up there talking about what now? Like you know?
I wish I could do that. That's how the improv people feel.
I do love whenever I do a really personal joke and no one else laughs. You're the only person laughing in the audience.
I laugh at every time someone bombs. That's what I laugh at. I laugh. I never when a good joke happens, I go, that was a good joke. That was really funny. That was well written out. I focus on like the writing. But when someone says something personal that no one laughs at and like the whole room gets uncomfortable, like, oh my God. That's where I crack the fuck up.
I do too.
That's hysterical.
And it gets me in trouble sometimes, because like it'll be a joke that's really inappropriate, and like not in the way that it's like just inappropriate with nothing behind it, and I'll laugh really hard at how uncomfortable it hit.
Yeah,
and then
it makes you look like a dick.
Yeah,
like it makes you
look at that racist laughing at that joke, and I'm like, wait, no, I was laughing at the guy on stage.
I'm laughing at the reaction from the crowd of how uncomfortable you all got.
It's like I used to watch American Idol when it first started, because there was a lot of people failing. Like, I just wanted to watch bad singers.
Yeah.
But then, like, as it got on, they were like, we can't make fun of, like, these people are mentally challenged. Like, we can't make fun of them.
Yeah,
so
they were
stopped,
mean to a lot of
so they
people.
stopped putting on the bad singers. And then it's not as fun anymore. I only watch it.
Yeah, then it's like actual talent. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for you to get a record deal before I listen to you. Like, I don't want to hear you sing shitty covers of Hallelujah.
The only thing that came out of that was Susan Boyle.
Was that? That was
I think that was
British Idol.
Oh, okay. That's yeah.
You're the Susan Boyle of Rhode Island comedy now.
It's as uncomfortable to watch, that's for sure.
That's the thing that I am very appreciative for Rhode Island comedy, but it's like, we are now Rhode Island comics not even being there, because that's the only thing that's open. Like, I'm originally from the Cape. Consider myself a Boston comic, but I did Worcester a lot. But now it's like Rhode Island's the only thing that's open, so you're a Rhode Island.
Yeah, I'm from Mass. Done a lot of Worcester, done a lot of Boston, but for some reason everyone looks at me as a New Hampshire comic. I don't know why that is.
Oh, really?
I think I just come across as like a conservative Republican man that would swing a "Don't Tread on Me" flag from my truck. But so people are just like, this kid, New Hampshire. But yeah, Rhode Island.
And you always wear hiking boots.
And I have a German Shepherd with me at all times. But yeah, Rhode Island has definitely been great, which way better reception to like our jokes and stuff. Our sense of humor is definitely got a way better reception down there, which like I kind of am looking at as like, maybe that's not great. because the people down here are kind of like sleaze bags where they're like, we love when you go as hard as possible. Be racist, be sexist.
That's a problem. It's like when I was in Boston, I was probably one of the bluer Boston comedians, but I was still getting booked. But then when that stopped and I went to Rhode Island, it just is like the jokes only work if you're more fucked up. So when I go back, I'm going to have to, I've actually been trying to write a 7-minute clean set.
Yeah.
But it's hard to write, for me at least.
It's really. Yeah, I was like pitching, I was pitching my family my clean material recently, like my old clean material. I was revisiting it. And I was like, everything I was saying, I was like, oh, this isn't even clean. This was like as clean as I can get, but I'm still like talking about blumpkins and talking about like cuck porn and stuff. So it's like, yeah.
I was like, my dodgeball joke I could do in a clean. And I was like, oh, wait, no, there's school shoot. That's not clean.
Yeah.
It's like, just because it doesn't, there's not a swear doesn't mean.
It's funny because, yeah, I feel like we look at it as like, we're just talking about the subject. We're not acting it out. Like, if I'm talking about blumpkin porn, that's not offensive. If I acted it out, that's where it would become offensive. So I dropped the act out, and I'm like, whoa, the word
now.
Blumpkin isn't offensive.
Fucking opening up for Jim Gaffigan.
I played in a cafe in Londonderry, New Hampshire one time for a bunch of middle-aged women, just all like older women and their daughters, and I killed for 10 minutes. I had one of the best sets of my life.
Well, you said before, so I didn't really know you before quarantine. You said you did more cleaner comedy before.
Yeah, I worked in a bakery. So I had I had a tight 5 of bakery material. Which
I've never heard you tell a bakery.
Yeah, I stopped. I quit that job and I stopped. Which it was the best job of my life, and I just quit one day because it was getting in the way of my comedy. I felt, at least. I suck at jobs. I'm really bad at jobs.
Yeah,
that's a huge problem for me.
But you were clean, and then when you came back, were you just like, fuck it, I'm not going to do that anymore? Or what was that decision?
I guess I wasn't really that clean. I mean, a lot of people, I was one or the other. I was either incredibly clean or I was incredibly offensive. Mm-hmm. So when I worked at the bakery, I was getting good bakery material, and then I stopped working there. So then when I was telling those jokes, they felt like insincere, like I don't work in a bakery anymore. I'm lying to you people. And I felt like that was which is kind of stupid, but it felt weird saying it like, oh, I work at a bakery. And it's like, well, I know that's not true.
Well, that's how I felt.
It's like, I'm honest on stage, you know?
Yeah. Before quarantine, I'd had a lot of relationship material. And then when I got back, my friends were like, you can still do those jokes even though you're not in a relationship. And I'm like, it doesn't feel sincere. Like, I'm not telling the joke with as much like enthusiasm. Like,
well, that's worse, though, too.
Yeah,
if you're single and you're like, I'm in a relationship, my girlfriend.
You're just going home and sitting alone.
Yeah, driving home, like keep looking over at your passenger seat.
That was a good set, wasn't it, honey?
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, but no, I do agree that
Did you laugh at when I said I'm honest on stage because I'm the most like I lie. I constantly lie on stage.
But I was thinking about this in preparation for this podcast because I wrote I had something about you lying on stage, but you also don't. Like, you make like the thing, I don't want to give away your jokes, but like the thing about the tattoo, that's still your style and it's still true to you because like
the exit sign tattoo.
Yeah, it's like Dave Attell. Not everything Dave Attell says is true, but it's true to him because that's who he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about you when I thought about it.
I feel like my jokes, you're able to separate the lie from the truth. Like, you can kind of see like where I came up with the idea and then how I just exaggerated to such a lie that it's like there was a point, like the exit sign. I saw an exit sign. That much is true. And then I made up a whole story about it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I want all my stories to be based in truth, but like I'll make up little details, like a ending line, like someone said something that really didn't happen, but I don't want to.
Well, that's where the funny comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you think Bert Kreischer's machine story is full to its entirety?
No, of course.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, that's like, did you love Louis? You are a big Louis fan.
Huge Louis
you
fan.
like, yeah, you got more into him in the past year or two.
Around October 2017 is where he became an idol to me.
No, but did you ever watch the Louis show?
Yeah.
Remember the episode where he's going to he hosts the open mic and the kid's telling the story about pissing the bed and his mom's beating him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, just do a silly voice because he's like, this guy's not funny. And he's killing at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I feel like I go down that path sometimes too, where it's like, this isn't even funny. It's just a sad story I'm telling. And that's something where you come in. It's like you're good at kind of exaggerating or pulling the curtain back on something.
I'm also good at telling really sad stories to where the crowd goes, Jesus, this kid needs therapy.
That happened to me last night. I literally went into a dark spiral halfway through a joke.
But that was hilarious. The whole, it seemed on purpose though, with the whole calling your dad thing. That was great.
But it wasn't.
Yeah. In reality, then that's really sad what happened on stage. I thought it wasn't true. I thought you were just saying that as a joke.
I was listening back to it and I was like, oh no, I was really sad in that moment. But from now on, I'm just going to. You never
played with me, Dad. You don't even talk to me anymore.
How does your family feel about your comedy? Or your dad?
My dad loves it.
That was a rude thing to say. How does your family feel about your comedy?
Not at all. That's a good question.
Just your dad.
That's a good question. I could have come from a family that I know people whose families absolutely hate their comedy, hate that they do it. Like I won't say his exact name, but the kid who we know whose mother yelled at him to quit comedy recently. Yeah. Like that's pretty brutal.
That is brutal.
But
and he wasn't even like a dark. I just felt bad.
Maybe he was using mother as code word for me because I yelled at him to quit comedy a week before that. So nobody's ever. If you come up to me and you say I'm thinking about quitting comedy, I will tell you to quit comedy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
There's another older comic who says that too, and it's like, it's true. It's like if you're thinking about quitting, you should just quit? Because I've never thought about quitting.
Yeah, and
I can't even I always say, dark thing to say on a self-help podcast, but me quitting comedy is me killing myself.
No, I can't do anything other than comedy. When before comedy, I was depressed, hurt. It's the only thing that I have.
Everybody love everybody.
Absolutely.
Want to do. And that's why it's back now. I'm sorry, but if you don't want to go inside, that's fine. But there's still outdoor mics.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Corona people. Drop the fear. Drop the mask. We're doing it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I feel like I should take back what I said. But I heard someone say that they don't think open mics are helpful to them. And I was like,
that's a shitty comic.
Exactly.
That's someone who's just like, I'm just going to go up there and kill it. That's like, what's that Robert De Niro movie? The King of Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just hilarious.
But your family likes your comedy?
My dad loves my comedy. And
your dad's such a great fan.
He's a huge fan. I've hosted those 2 shows in my backyard this year and he watched it the whole way through. He cracked up at everybody the whole time. Afterwards, he was going up to everybody like, we love you guys. We're so happy you came here. Please come again. We want to do this every week. And he loves that. He loves even the people who I think suck who showed up. My dad was like, they're so good. They're going to be something one day. And I was like, that guy, Dad? Come on. I know him. He sucks.
You can say my name.
No, you're one of the good ones. That's why I let you take Bullet.
I appreciate that. Angriest. See, I meditate every day. I do yoga. I try not to. I was an angry person, and I try to push that anger down, far down by doing certain things.
Stand up.
Stand up,
meditating
and meditating.
Does that help with your
smoking? Comedy? Yeah, and that all helps me calm down. But you saw anger come out. You've only seen anger
for the first time ever.
And then
out of you. It was shocking.
I know. I don't get like that, but it happens sometimes, and I'm like, oh, it's like that Bill Burr bit on his newest special where he's talking about his anger. He doesn't know how to.
I don't know it.
You don't listen to much stand-up other than the guys you like. Yeah. I asked you, who do you listen to? You're like, I only listen to Bill Hicks and Louis.
I listen to far too much Bill Hicks, and I listen to Louis, far too often. Louis only has one album on Spotify, so I just listen to it over and over again.
I listened to a Bill Hicks album at your request, and then I went and did stand up that night, and it was super unfunny. And I was like, no, he's very funny, but when you listen to him, at least for me, my bits were like his that night, and I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, so you see where I'm coming from with my comedy. But his was more philosophical and all that. But like he has a joke in his Revelation special where he like the one where he's saying like we live in a totalitarian government who's trying to keep us in this dark, and then he stops and he goes, "Oh, wrong meeting." And it's like you snap out of it. You're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I forgot he's a comic. Yeah, I forgot he's here to be funny." Like that's how good his comedy was. That's how unfunny his comedy was.
No, I think I've gone back and I can't write jokes like his, of course not, but he is super funny. There's some old comics that like I've had friends getting screaming matches with me because I tell them I don't think George Carlin is funny, and it's just like I like old comedians, but he's just not my cup of tea. And then I feel that way when people talk shit about Joe Rogan. I'm like, you're talking shit about Joe Rogan? You're talking shit about Joe Rogan? And then I'm like, oh, I understand when people get upset that I don't. I
used to hate Joe Rogan. And I used to think he was unfunny, and I never gave him a chance. I was always just like, he's not funny at all. He's the host of Fear Factor. And then our friend Dan Butler was like shocked by that. And he showed me like 4 CDs of his, and I didn't even know he was that good of a comic. I had no idea.
He's
a fantastic comic, like one of the best for sure.
Shout out Dan Butler and his podcast, the Slanted Hallway. Yeah, I want to get him on to talk about that because that shit.
Hell yeah,
crazy.
That's fucking. If you could get Alex Williams, Will Podorf, and Dan Butler on here,
I would do that.
Oh man, that's a lineup right there. The fact that they've come together to make a show is incredible, and it's fucking killer stuff too. Also, Rob Costa. And another person, I don't know his name.
I respect comedians. I respect most comedians, but I respect comedians who do comedy and also have something else that's creative that they're pursuing. Like you have your TV show, Living with a Sped, which you cannot look up on YouTube.
Look it up on Instagram. You will find it.
When you look up Living with a Sped on YouTube, it just shows you a bunch of videos on how to live with a special education child.
Yeah.
Which is not your TV show.
No, it's not. It's not. It's burial. I think it's YouTube burying the word sped. Like they're like, these fucking kids are assholes for making the show. It's Living with a Sped, no G in the living. Look it up on Instagram. That's where you have a better chance of finding it. But
how'd you get? So I studied film, and I don't like it that much. Like,
really?
Do you? How did you get into that? Like,
I've just thought like how we started. Whitest Kids You Know inspired me to be like in the show Mighty Boosh, which not many people know about. The Mighty Boosh and the Whitest Kids You Know, and like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'll say Seinfeld, but those shows inspired me to like comedy shows. I've just always been a huge fan of comedy. Mm-hmm. So comedy shows and stand-up comedy always just influenced me. So I've always been, and movies, I'm just a huge movie buff. So the idea of making anything was really sick to me. And then my brother and his friend drunkenly wrote the first season of Living with a Sped. And we didn't take it seriously. That's why it's called Living with a Sped. Most people are turned off by that name and they won't watch it because of that. Or they'll think it's like us just being incredibly offensive and edgelordy. But they drunkenly just wrote Living with a Sped, and then they wrote the first season out. And they came to me and my other brother and they were like, we should make this. We wrote it and I think it would be really funny. And we did it. And by the end of the first season making it, we were having a lot of fun with it, and we were watching it and we were like, this is fucking awesome. And like, we loved seeing ourselves on camera and stuff. So then they wrote season 2 real quick, and we just filmed season 2, and we got far too pretentious with season 2. We got like locations, actors, guns, and all that stuff. We were like, let's go full fledged, because season 1 is in the same place the whole time, the same 4 people. Season 2 is like 10 people, 18 different locations, guns, CGI. It's a big leap. So then I came in as a writer on season 3, and we just went back to basics with like, let's just stick to comedy. Let's just keep it funny. not go pretentious with it with like drug wars and all that shit. But so season 3 is really, we watched season 3 and we're like, oh, this could actually be really good. We could actually like make something worth watching. So then we wrote season 4. Season 1 and season 2 were 9 episodes each. And then season 3, because I was enjoying writing so much and my brother was enjoying writing so much, we wrote 12 episodes. And then for season 4, I thought, well, it's season 4. What if we make 20 episodes? So it's season 4, 20 episodes, 420. And then we'll release it on 420. Even though the show really has nothing to do with weed. Yeah. But and we enjoyed writing so much and we knew it was going to be the last season. So we were like, fuck it, let's just write 20 whole episodes. So we wrote 20 episodes and we filmed it within a year. And we just put it all out. The last episode came out like 3 weeks ago. And yeah, we're all very proud of it, which is awesome. It's awesome to have something out there that you're like actually proud of.
So I've watched the newest season 4's, the episodes that I've seen. Early on, was it low quality? Because yeah.
Oh yeah.
When do you direct? Like, who does the filming and the directing of it?
I did most of the camera work for season 4. And
because there's some really good shots, especially in the finale. I was like, oh, you actually have a grasp of like, but like, no,
stop sucking my dick, Sam. Get out of here.
No, but it is good. Like, it is really good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've never done any like well, no, that's not true. And I did 1 year of college and I took a film class, I guess. So I got kind of insight. I wouldn't even say that helped me out on insight. I feel like it's just, you know, you watch movies and you watch shows, you kind of get a grasp of like how to film different things.
It's funny because that's just not how my mind works. And I went to school for that. Like my major's in film. And my teacher ruined my dream of film. I remember going in and being like, hey, I want to make mumblecore films, which are like the Duplass brothers, Joe Swanberg. Like there's a Greta
Thunberg?
Yeah. Greta Gerwig.
That's how you were after your
exactly.
teacher killed your dreams.
And I was like, these are the type of films I want to make. And he was like, I don't like those films, so I'm just going to teach you how he literally was like, I don't like those films and I can't teach you how to make them. So then I would come into class with these films I worked super hard on and he'd be like, change it. He's like, I don't listen to the lyrics and music, so you should change the song because I like, and the whole movie was based on the lyrics to this song. So it literally like,
what an
killed
asshole.
my dreams in filmmaking. And that's when I was like,
holy shit.
Yeah, legit. And that's when I see yours. I'm like, shit, like you fucking did it. Like you broke through. I just had my dreams. But that also shows it's not my real path. Because like,
I guess, yeah. I mean, I didn't have to go to school for it. I just was like, I can just do it.
Yeah,
well,
you didn't go to school. You're not $30,000 in debt and you know how to do it better than I do.
Well, if you just do it, I mean, you're bound to get better at it too. Like season 1, we had bad cameras. None of us know how to act. So you're just kind of figuring out how to act. And by season 4, you could tell we're all way better at like continuity and like, yeah, camera angles and all that stuff and just acting. We know what's funnier. Mm-hmm. So season 4, I mean, the difference between season 1 and season 4 is outstanding. Outstanding.
Do you like the writing part of it or do you like the directing part of it more?
I love writing, but writing is incredibly hard for sure. It's way easier to write with someone. A group of people's hard to write with because you fight over ideas and you're like, what if we do this? And someone will shut it down and be like, well, this is why. But like if you're writing with one person, like my brother Chris, me and him write together. We sat down and wrote the first episode of the season 4 because we had most of the episodes written. And then we didn't have an idea for episode 1. So we just sat down and like within 2 hours, we wrote this whole episode. That's just like joke after joke after joke. And it's like pretty good. And when you watch it, it's like a 12-minute episode. When you watch it back, for us at least, when we watch it, we're like, wow, we sat down and just wrote this. And now it's like on the screen. Now it's like in person. It's interesting to see your writing come to life. It's cool to see.
Do you sit down and write stand up?
Oh yeah. I'm a super pre-written person. I need like, I'll even write like the fucking like act out parts of like, I don't know. I write out all of it, really. Word for word.
Do you do any writing on stage or no?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll improv like a line or like a word or just like, yeah.
Do you force
Few
yourself
things.
to write?
But I'll never go up on stage and just start winging it, which is a thing I respect heavily. To mention Dan Butler again, is he's a comic who will go on stage and just write up there. Like he'll have an idea and go on stage and just start talking about it, which will make him bomb sometimes, like hardcore, where he's sitting there thinking and people are like, this isn't funny, but it's like him, you know, a fucking starting with a stone and just whittling it down. It's incredibly impressive to watch. I can't do that at all. I'm super pre-written.
I started off super pre-written, and as I've gotten more into comedy, I've been writing more on stage, just going up and winging it, which is a confidence thing, but I feel like I get better bits out of it, but not as good jokes. Like my jokes are better when I sit down and write them, but my bits are better when I'm just like free, because it just seems as if it's not supposed to, you know, not coming from a place of already knowing, because you don't want to look like you're just reading a script up there.
Yeah, that's 100. Well, I've tried since the beginning. I've tried incredibly hard to make it all seem like it's right off the top of my head. Like I like to have it pre-written and then say it over and over again in my room and like in the car, so that when I say it on stage, it seems like I'm like, this just happened to me, but it's like a thing that happened 3 months ago, you know, that I mostly made up.
You memorize? So when you go over your lines, you do it in your room or in your car?
Yeah.
Like when you're driving?
Yeah.
I do it when I run. When I run, I probably look like a crazy person, but I'll be like I'll run down the street and I'll be like saying my set out loud.
Like a whole bit?
Like
I can't do that.
No, I'll do like, if I have a 10-minute set that night, I will do all 10 minutes while running outside, because I'm like, if I can handle this, then I can handle a crowd, you know?
Yeah. If that works for you. I don't think I could run at the same time of practicing my bit. When I'm running, I'm just like, I'm dying anyway, so I couldn't even focus.
Yeah.
I suck at running. Do you run? I know you've been doing those like 5K things. Do you run the whole way? That's crazy to me.
This is how you know he doesn't listen to my podcast. So yeah, I run. I run 3 to 5 miles a day.
That's incredible.
Almost every day. I'd say 5 days a week, because there are days where I just have so much shit that I can't do. But I'd say I try to do yoga every day, meditate, run. Yeah, because
are you about that? Like it's all mental. It's not about.
Yeah, it's all mental. We were talking about my anger before. Like, I'm a crazy person. There's a reason that like I do all this shit.
You're preaching to the choir.
Exactly. So when if I can like kick my ass in the morning with a run, like my body will be too tired to freak out or get angry in the afternoon. Because I know that I'll like freak at someone, or like I'll have a panic attack because I can't pick out what sweatshirt I want to wear. Like dumb shit. I just get anxious about it or whatever. But when I run, it's like it kicks the beast inside of me a little bit and tires it out.
Yeah, that's good. I just jerk off. I jerk off 10 times a day.
So how do you drink so much caffeine? Caffeine makes me more anxious than anything. Like, do you drink more energy drinks than like?
It just started this year. I used to not drink so much caffeine, but yeah, the Bang energy drinks. It's the new heroin on the streets for sure. It's really fucking bad. Or Rain, 300 grams of caffeine. I drank an energy drink earlier that had 70 grams, and I looked at it and I was like, bitch numbers. What the fuck am I doing? This is going to make me fall asleep.
That's how I look at edibles. When people are like, I took 15 milligrams and I had a great night. I'm like, pussy.
Yeah.
Like I take 30 times that.
Yeah, that night you and me went to that drive-in show. And you gave me like a 50 milligram edible. I was just gone for the night. Like you kept saying things to me, and I would just look at you like, yeah.
I took 300 that night.
Oh man, I couldn't talk after that.
I remember I went to go see Weird Al Yankovic with my dad. It was the Boston Symphony Orchestra and Weird Al Yankovic and my dad. And I gave him a tiny piece of an edible, and he got so fucked up, and I took the rest of it, and it was maybe one. I go to a lot of concerts, but I don't know why. I'm not even a big Weird Al fan, but that was one of the best concerts I've ever been
Oh,
to.
hell yeah.
Just fucking stoned,
Mm.
watching the Boston Symphony Orchestra and Al.
Fuck
Weird
yeah.
Al.
I saw
I
Weird
almost
Al.
said Al Christakis.
Al Christakis. Weird Al Christakis.
He's in his green Borat swimsuit.
I'm a cum farmer. Yeah, I saw Weird Al at the Lowell Auditorium with my mother and my two brothers, and it was definitely a real good time. He puts on a good show.
So you said you jerk off to get your anger out, your craziness out.
Do you
have other things that you do?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to say that comedy releases something in me, but I don't know if it does.
Do you journal or do you just write comedy?
I just write comedy. I don't journal at all. I just write comedy. I work out.
Like
I work out too.
Girl.
I go to the gym sometimes. No, I go to the gym a lot. I can only run a mile. That's why I'm fascinated. The fact that you can run 5 is crazy to me. There's this one road. I've been doing these 10-mile walks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe if 10-mile walking equals a 5-mile run, but I've been doing these 10-mile walks around my neighborhood, and there's this one road that's a mile long. And when I first was doing the walks, I would start running it, and like I'd get like 10% into the run, and I would immediately like be on the ground, like hyperventilating. But now I can run the whole thing because like every time I would take the walk, I would try to run as much as I could. So like I was like 25%, 50%, 100%. But by the end of the run, I'm fucking on my knees, like dying, just like screaming to the Lords.
Well,
Take pity on me.
I actually can spit some self-help right now at you. So no, so how
If you say it's mental, you know,
I don't
that's
think it
not
is.
even
No,
good.
it's kind of like comedy. It's like people want to go up and have 15 great minutes off the bat. You know what I mean? Like I'll have friends be like, dude, I have this 5-minute bit, and they don't do comedy. And it's like, that's probably one joke. And you know what I
that's
mean?
A
It's
13-second one line.
I hate comedians who are like, I have 25 minutes. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that's how I feel about running. Is when I started, I would run for 10 minutes. That's all I did. Every single day, I'd run for 10 minutes. And when you're running for 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, you're like, that's the easiest thing I've ever done. But after doing it for 10 minutes for 2 months, then you get to like 15 minutes, and you just keep upping it and upping it by short increments until mentally you're trained for whatever.
Right.
Like I've done 8-mile runs, 9-mile runs, and
That's
it's
fucking wild.
But it all started off with me running so slow. Like
Right.
you could probably walk faster than I was running, and I was doing it 10 minutes a day.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying with the one road there is I started at like 10% running it and being like, all right, that's enough for me. And then I got to like 25% and then I ran halfway. But what I was doing was I was setting points. Like I was pointing out a mailbox and being like, I'm running to that. And then as soon as I would get there, I'd be like, all right, just run to the next mailbox there. And then I'd run there. And then I'd be like, all right, the stop sign's right there. You might as well just finish it out. So it would be like tricking my brain into making it all the way. So it was pretty mental.
Yeah, you do have to trick yourself. Do you think like with the caffeine and with all that stuff, like you have the worst sleep schedule? You texted me that you sleep from like 3 to 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I went to sleep at 5 in the morning today, and I woke up at like 11 or something.
So do you think that affects your energy? Or are you the type of person like?
Well, I've always been like a night owl. What's the disease you have that makes you not sleep? I keep thinking nepotism, but that's not it.
Necrophilia.
Yeah, necrophilia, nepotism. It's something with an N, right?
It's an N word.
Night owl. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But I've always stayed up so late. That's why I always had trouble in school, waking up for school. Like I would always go into high school. I would go in late by like 15 minutes, like every single day. And then they would give me detentions for it. And then I would have so many detentions that they would be like, now we have to suspend you. And then I'd be like, I'm just coming in late. I always tried to plead with them, like, if you just allow me to come in 15 minutes late every day, I'll be fine. Because that was my only problem in school was just, man, I came in late every fucking day.
I don't like waking up early.
I hate it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I hate going to bed early.
I schedule.
That's a worse problem for me.
Going to bed early, I can kind of force myself to do. Like over quarantine, I force myself to go to bed by 11 every night. And then I'm the type of person who I need 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, regular, like every single night, or I'm dead.
Yeah.
And it really does affect me. Like if I get 6 hours of sleep, I literally can't do anything. Like I don't want to work out. I don't want to do any of my shit. Like,
Are you a napping person?
I have become a napping person where I'll do a 30-minute nap or a 40-minute nap, and it just like jolts my system.
Yeah, a nap sometimes helps. I can't even nap though. Like if I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. Like I'm out. I can't even like do a nap. I'm like if I fall asleep, I'm sleeping for hours. Like my nap the other day, like this Saturday, I went to sleep at like 1. So I guess I fell asleep on Sunday. But then I woke up at 11 because we were going out with my family to a diner. And when we got home at like 3, I went right back to sleep and I slept until like 7 or 8.
Are you just dull? Like, do you...
Oh, yeah. I'm a fatigued person. I don't know why.
Does that...
I would say it's the energy drinks, but I just started drinking those this year.
Do they work? Because
sometimes they work too much. Like sometimes if I drink I almost drank an energy drink today, but I was like, I'll be so ahead of myself that like it gets you so like going that you fumble over your words. Like you get ahead of yourself when you're talking.
I don't even, I can't do it.
It's brutal.
I don't even like tea. So I was never a coffee person. And then I was like, let me try tea. And even tea, like, that's how you know you're a pussy ass bitch, is when you can't even handle tea. Like when you tea's like, I'm fucked up right now, bro. Like I just drank a green tea and I'm fucked up.
Well, that's funny because I started on green teas. I would get an iced green tea before every time I went to a mic. It's mostly because I was working long shifts and then I would have to, immediately out of work, I would have to drive to do comedy. So I was doing like long shifts and then a long drive to where I was going to do comedy and then waiting around doing comedy and then waiting around after too. So I was up for like 17 hours. So I'd drink a green tea because I thought that's healthier than a fucking Bang or a Monster, you know? There's no sugar in it. But then for some reason, at a point, green tea just started making me gag. Like Dunkin's coffee makes me gag. I don't know why. Something in Dunkin's recipes just makes me gag.
Well, there's a thing in green tea called it's the same thing that's in red wine. Just don't use the coaster. It doesn't matter.
Sticking to the glass
We'll fuck the table up. It's my mom's table. You think I give a fuck?
It already has some holes in it over here.
I know.
Do you have a cat?
No, I don't. Actually, we'll go back to green tea after, but I used to have a cat. When I was growing up, I had a cat, and it ran away. And then I just became super allergic to cats.
Oh, really?
Right. But then, so this is a real interesting story that really isn't. Then I had super bad respiratory problems when I was a kid, but not when I was growing up. So I think it's just because they had that cat. Like it was
Like
probably
it was helping your problems?
No, like it was fucking up my breathing because I was allergic to it. And then when it ran away, I was like, oh, you're allergic to cats.
I see.
That wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
That
wasn't as interesting as you thought.
I thought it was going to be a lot better when
I'm allergic to cats. I'm far too allergic to cats. Like if they touch, well, I'm not far too allergic, but when they touch me, I hive up and I lose my ability to breathe. Just like my lungs swell up. And I have four regular cats, but all 4 of them just recently had kittens. So right now in my house, I have like 23 cats.
That's too many cats.
It's way too many cats. Well, they're kittens. So
Are you
there's
gonna
a ton.
sell them?
Yeah, we're getting rid of all of them.
To the
But
local
well, I
Asian
mean, just
restaurant?
putting it on Facebook, like anyone want cat? Yeah, to the local, Rick's Cafe.
There was an Asian restaurant in my town that was shut down because they were serving meat that wasn't the meat that they were supposed to be selling.
Oh, but they didn't say what kind of meat it was.
I was told it was cats. That's what I was
Wow.
told.
You thought it was coyotes taking the local cats. It was the. I won't say it. The Asians. That's it.
Oh, that's the wrong drop. I haven't learned the drops yet.
Asian.
That's why that's my job, Sam. Not Bob. That's my job.
That's your job. You're the drop queen.
Do you have a gong? Asians. Gong.
I need some guests.
Guests?
some guests that will make me not canceled. So
Oh,
let me
I
go.
didn't say it.
I'm just
I
kidding.
can still get SNL.
Let me go to my questionnaire that I have. Do
Shoot
you
'em up.
read?
I
like that I wrote that down.
I do read, not as often as I want, but I read. I have a stack of comedy books right now. Books. I have a stack of comedy books in my room right now, like Bill Hicks, Love All the People. I have that book that I'm like 80% through. I just got Charlie Chaplin's autobiography and Mo Howard's autobiography, who's the Three Stooges, Mo.
Yeah.
And I got Lenny Bruce, Ladies and Gentlemen. Here's Lenny Bruce, whatever. But I got it, but it never showed up. So I guess I'm never gonna read that one. But and I got Enter Talking by Joan Rivers. So those are all books I'm on my way to.
Do you find your inspiration from older comedians?
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the dead comics are the best ones. That's why it's cocky. In my opinion, it's cocky to say I'm gonna die young as a comic, because that means you're a great comic, in my opinion. Like if you die young as a comic, that means you were really you were too good that you died young. The list is outstanding of all the dead. Joan Rivers was old though. Joan Rivers and Rodney Dangerfield were old. George Carlin was old.
Dangerfield started late.
Good point. Bernie Mac too.
Mm.
Yeah. I guess yeah.
I guess you're gonna have to live out that
Count
shitty
comedian.
life for years.
Louis never died.
Not yet.
Oh, he died kinda.
Wait, doesn't Dave Chappelle have that joke where he's like,
Yeah.
Louis died in a horrible
Yeah.
masturbation accident?
Yeah.
My first joke was about masturbating, and I played it for my grandma.
Nice.
I feel like a lot of comics' first jokes are about jerking off. Because it's like the taboo thing that,
That's all we know.
yeah.
I don't really have. Oh yeah, you have a joke where you talk about masturbating in your car. And yeah, when I started, I had a joke where I talked about masturbating in my car that was very similar, because it's funny because you have tissues in your car because you have allergies,
Mm-hmm.
but I literally carried around tissues in my car to jerk off.
Yeah, dude, literally, that's not everyone who gets in my car sees the box of tissues and asks me if I'm jerking off in the car. And it's like, I can't stop blowing my
It's
nose.
funny because everyone who gets in my car goes, "Oh, do you have allergies?" But no, I literally, I have a masturbation habit that's unhealthy for sure.
Is the relationship helping that?
Oh, dude, I literally the other day I messaged my girlfriend and I told her I had just jerked off, and she
I thought you
said,
were going to text her that you have a problem. Like, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do
"No,
it.
I texted her and I told her. Well, we were texting. I didn't just text her like, "Hey, I just jerked off," but we were talking. And I was like, "Oh, I'm just laying in bed. I just jerked off." And she said, "Why would you jerk off? You have a girlfriend." And I was like, "That's so ludicrous. Well, why would you?"
That is ludicrous.
That doesn't stop me from masturbating? You're not around 24/7. And
You
even
can't fill my needs.
even when you pull out, you jerk off onto them. It's kind of like saying I did this on my own. Like you were just part of it,
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But
Or when you're having sex and then you turn them around and you jerk off on their face.
no point to that. You're like, this is me.
Yeah,
This
well,
is my-"
jerking off is still involved in the sex.
Do you go, me time?
Yeah, I look up. A lot of the times during sex, I look up for some reason.
Trying
don't
to
know
get
why
to
that is.
Jesus? God? Thinking of, why is Jesus the only name you can yell in bed other than your partner's?
Jesus. Other than
Like I've had a lot, you know, like you can yell, you can't yell like, "Oh, George," but like you can be like, "Jesus
You
Christ."
could probably say Jiminy Christmas.
"Oh,
But that's like
imagine being
Jesus.
named Jiminy."
Jiminy.
I'm gonna name my kid Jiminy.
Jiminy Fallon.
Jiminy Buck.
Jiminy
That's
Buck.
a racist in the
Yeah.
making.
Oh yeah, Jiminy
Jiminy
Buck.
Buck literally. Oh, he has the Confederate back tattoo.
Oh yeah, he does.
Jiminy Buck.
He's a New Hampshire comic. Jiminy Buck.
So you were saying that jobs fuck up your comedy and you leave them. How about relationships? Do you feel like they help your comedy or hinder it?
I feel like with comedy, you can't sit around stagnant all the time. Like nothing comes from that. Like if you're just sitting at a desk, I have a huge problem with sitting at a desk and just writing comedy. You have to go out and like have experiences. Like I always go to the mall and just walk around.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite thing.
It's
the
gather a
number
lot
one
of
activity
material.
for lonely white guys.
yeah. You visit Primark. Ooh. But no, I go
Have
to
you noticed that every mall the benches are outside of the Victoria's Secret? And I'm like, that's the one store you can't put benches in front of.
Yeah. They don't put them in Primark because Primark is like teen Victoria's Secret. So
Sponsored by Cuties.
sponsored by Cuties. Yeah, I'm writing for Cuties too, believe it or not. But no. Yeah.
So you don't like
The point is that having a girlfriend, I think being in a relationship is good because you get to talk to someone all the time. So I get to like throw my ideas at her. And if she laughs, I'm like, okay, that's something. Cause she's just a normal person. She's not a comic, you know,
Mhm.
like pitching comedy to a comic is weird. Cause also I feel like comics are just jerks, you know, they're like, if you pitch them a joke, they're like, I wouldn't say it. And it's like, okay, you're not me though.
Yeah, if you pitch a comic a joke and they say it's a good joke, they think that they can tell a joke better. And if you pitch a comic a joke that's better than theirs, then they're going to try to give you a tag to be like, let it be my. I've had comedians give me tags and then be like, can I tell that joke now? It's like, motherfucker,
Oh my
no,
God.
like that's not how it
Yeah.
works.
I had a joke about owls. A lot of people who know me know the joke. You know the owl joke.
Mhm.
Owls are phlegmy. But I had this one. It ends with a word where I said, when I first told it, I told it in its entirety, but I said one word differently. And then this Boston comic who he said, you should change that word to this. And I was like, that's a good idea. And I believe I would have gotten to that anyway, because it was my first time ever telling the joke, but he went, hey, you should change that one word. And I was like, right, I should. That's what was wrong with the joke. And then I told the joke that way with the new word, and he pretty much claimed the joke as his own. He walked up on stage and because he was hosting, and he walked up on stage and went, I wrote that tag for him at the end of that joke. And it was like, yeah, I was like, no, you didn't. And he took full credit for it, as if I like, fuck me, I had an idea for a joke and he wrote it, like, and he changed a word. He didn't write the tag. So it's like the way he said it was as if he wrote the whole ending to the joke, but he was like, you should change the one word in the tag. So yeah, fuck that guy. He also stole a joke from me, so fuck that guy. I won't even say his name, so there's no point. But
no, but that's annoying.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, okay, so there's on episode 4 of my podcast, we had Lloyd Legacy Sharp, and he was talking about some people in his past that had wronged him, and he said that they were toxic
Get over it,
people.
Lloyd. Come on, we've come so far. I didn't mean to do that.
It wasn't you, but he didn't give names. And then a couple weeks ago, there was a comment on the video from the guy he was talking about, and he never gave names. And the guy like named himself, and he was like, I am that toxic person. I was like,
good.
what?
Oh, so that comic from Boston who hosts a mic that stole my joke and added that one word tag, you know who you are. Name yourself. Fuck you. you know what you're about.
I don't, but like, why
Most
would
people
you
have problems with the guy I'm talking about, by the way. Most people know he's a mentally ill, deranged person. I think it's already clear who I'm talking about at this point.
I don't.
Yeah, you're not.
I was trying to do the crickets. God, I still don't know.
You'll
this
figure it out.
stupid
Label them.
soundboard. I do need to label them, and I want to put my own drops in because these were just the pre-programmed ones. So this was a very non-self-help episode. Do you want to give anything?
Is it
to
over?
It's getting to there. What self-help things do you do anything for yourself?
No, I'm really bad at self-help. That's why I was excited because I was like, I'm gonna say all these things, and you were like, it's a self-help podcast, don't say any of that. And I was like,
I told you not to say one thing.
Right, but it was really a funny thing what I was gonna say. It was gonna be funny.
He would have been kicked off SNL for it. We didn't even go. I'm sorry, we didn't even answer the question about you think stagnant. Like, be stagnant as a comedian is bad. So you think being in a relationship helps you as a comedian.
Right.
And that can go into the self-help.
Well, with comedy for us, it's like that's doing what you love. Do what you love. Don't suck corporate cock.
Mm-hmm.
Be comfortable not having a job. Be comfortable being homeless. Be comfortable with the fear of becoming homeless and losing everything and being alone. I think that's wicked important. And also, if, we lost a way, for some reason on the way of evolution, we lost the comfortability with dying. Like with all this corona stuff, it's like we're so afraid of dying. And it's like, why is that? I get it. Like it's over. But we should be far more comfortable with just dying. Because like with corona and everything, people kind of act as if after corona, death doesn't exist anymore. And like death didn't exist before,
or
too.
that you can't die from other diseases.
Yeah, and like cancer isn't running rampant. Yeah, it's all pretty crazy.
There's still people dying from many other, like the flu, like fucking
suicide.
Yeah,
like
the only two.
Those are the only two things people are dying from now. But yeah, there is a weird like stigma about death and how it is death. I mean, I get it.
To go back to do you read, the only question I asked you written down. So I'm reading this book right now called The Alchemist. It's a Portuguese or Brazilian book written in Portuguese that was published in 1988. And it's really, really interesting. And it's a fictional story, but it's kind of about that you just need to follow. The world will guide you if you're not scared. And maybe shit will happen and you'll lose everything. But if you just keep going towards your path, it's true. Like, It's true with comedy. Whenever I've followed comedy, whenever I've been like whenever I'm like, no, comedy is what I'm supposed to do, the universe gives me a sign that it is what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's we're scared of death because we think that we're never going to fulfill our dreams if we die before that happens. But I don't I think the reason we're obsessed with history is because we probably lived during those times and we're just reincarnated in this time. Like, you're going to live another life. You're going to be able to get everything you want done. Just live this life how you want it. The next one you can live how you want that.
That's how Ted Bundy looked at it.
The Ted Bundy of podcasters, Sam Buck.
Yeah.
But it makes me mad. It's like, live your life how you want it because you'll get another chance. I promise you. I can't show you.
I can't promise that.
I can't promise.
It could be nothing.
But I actually do think, like, if you're not going to live your dreams to your fullest, then you're not going to live the most fulfilled life. So I can promise you that, like, at least do one thing you want. Maybe you have 7 or 8 dreams, but do one thing for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, have no shame. Be like Airsoft Fatty. You know Airsoft Fatty?
I don't, but that sounds like a nickname I would have had in high school.
He's a fat Star Wars fan on YouTube who has absolutely no shame. He's actually someone to look up to. That like just putting yourself out there entirely. It's and like, what's the worst that, everyone's embarrassed. Things are embarrassing, but also, what's the worst that could happen? You put yourself out there, unless you're racist. If you do blackface, that's maybe the worst thing that could happen. But
that's the worst thing. I feel like it's probably top 5, but there's a couple other things you can do.
It's being caught being racist or being a child predator or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a bad person to talk to when it comes to self-help because like I've always known so many people, everyone I've been in relationships with too is like they've been depressed. They go into the system and all that therapy and all that mental institutions, and they take pills. They have that like Monday, that thing where you take your daily pills. And I've never taken pills in my life, and I've always refused them. Like I was a hardcore straight edge kid when I was a teen and stuff, and like I did the X's on my, CM Punk style. But like, yeah, I was
like you were going to a concert.
Yeah,
18, like
huge,
when you were 18?
Huge dork. Like I broke my knee in high school, and they gave me oxys, and it was like a cool thing to me to pour them down the drain. I was like, I'm straight edge. I don't take no pills, but I should have just taken them because I was in severe pain. But yeah, I am like super against the system because I feel like some people get ruined by it. I can understand where it helps for sure. It helps a lot of people. But like I've known a lot of people who are like so dependent on pills every day and say, maybe they help. Say, I'm a bad person to talk to about this because I've never experienced anything like that. I've always ignored them, but I've always been told to go into therapy. I've always been told to like they wanted to put me on Ritalin when I was a kid because I had severe ADHD. But like I felt like I got through my ADHD with comedy. Like comedy helped me. And like also mushrooms severely helped me find who I was and like find out what was wrong with me. I've taken many a mushroom in my day. Just last year I took mushrooms like once a month, and which is too much. You should take it 3 times a year possibly. But mushrooms incredibly helped me in my life. And
working out
weed,
too, honestly.
And working out and eating right.
Yeah.
Eating right, clears your mind.
Sleeping right and not drinking so much
Just
caffeine.
Be a healthy person, yeah. Like
It's
these
true,
people
though.
have
like,
unhealthy lifestyles and then they go to therapy and a therapist is like, you're fucking mentally ill. Take all these pills.
Therapy was detrimental to me. It was beneficial when I got what I needed out of it, but when I was going and I didn't need it anymore, it was like I was causing my own problems to talk about, and it made me go deeper into a spiral. So I do think you do need a therapist when you have things that you need an unknown party to talk about, but it's not something that you should do every week, because then every week for an hour, you're like, what's wrong with my life?
I think it's definitely 50-50 where it's like,
but I also, it's
definitely helpful.
It's different.
It's definitely helpful,
people.
But like, you should know what you're getting yourself into. Like a lot of people aren't going in with like a plan of like I know what I need to talk about. I know what I need to change, like some people go in and the system just fucks them. I've never gone to therapy, so I don't really know. But
so that was actually a pretty good self-help rant at the end that we went on.
I'm a mentally ill person.
I will end on a funny...
Earlier, I stated my helpful thing to say was you should be comfortable being homeless and being alone, and I stick by that.
It is true. If you're comfortable with following your dream, no matter what it brings you to, then you're going to be more fulfilled than you're not if you're not following your dream.
I've had 14 jobs in my life, and I've lost them all. I'm 22 years old. I've already had 14 jobs, lost them all. I quit or I got fired and every time you lose a job, everyone like comes to you when they find out and they're like, what are you going to do? Is everything okay? You got like bills to pay? And I'm always like, nah, fuck it. I'll get a new job. Who cares?
Figure it out.
But yeah, people have like such dependency on stuff like that, or they freak out, and it's like nothing's gonna help if you freak out, No,
you got to be present. You got to be happy.
You got to be relaxed and just thinking of what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because there's always a path forward. You always know what you're supposed to do. If you sit and think long enough, you always know the right decision and the wrong decision. Not that you're always gonna listen to it, but you always do know.
And the incredible thing about comedy is there's always a stage for us, even if we were like found out to be the worst people in the world, I feel like you can still go to an open mic. Like even Bill Cosby got out of prison today. He could go and do a show immediately.
He's probably killing it at
pack.
The prison stage.
Yeah, he probably is. Like, look at Louis. Louis is still doing shows. Like Shane Gillis is selling out everywhere. Like, you can cancel a comic and people will still be like, go fuck yourself. He's an incredible comic.
Cosby is pretty much canceled, though. Like, Louis and Gillis can come back, but Cosby is pretty much.
When he first got out of jail, though, I don't know exactly the specifics, but he got out and he did a show where they were playing music. He was telling stories and like mad people showed up.
That's true. R. Kelly. People support R. Kelly still.
I don't think people care. It's like that, like when you have a family member in jail that like, say like a nephew had sex, like a 26-year-old nephew had sex with a 13-year-old girl. And like his aunt and stuff will be like, that's my baby. You know, I know, I love him. He didn't do it. They'll stick by him to the bitter end. And even in the court, when they find out everything was true and this guy raped a girl, this woman will still be like, he's still my family. That's still my blood. You know, I'm doing kind of like a black impression. That's not what I mean to do. But yeah, like, it's just like people you love, you're just going to stick by them no matter what. You don't care.
And on that, do you have anything you want to plug?
Not really. Watch Living with a Sped on YouTube, and we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. Hopefully, we'll be doing short films soon and just little sketches. So I'm Packer DePari on Instagram and Comedy DePari on Twitter.
And you can catch us at Sad Open Mics in Rhode Island.
Sad Open Mics. I don't do anything.
Thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, share. New episodes coming every week. We actually have microphones now, and we have some pretty big guests, a lot more exciting than this fucker.
Oh, yeah. This is terrible, and I apologize.
No, this is great. All right, thanks, guys.
Living with his bed.
Bye.